Hey guys, Driftas Boosters here and welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh video. So today I have a special-ish one for you guys because actually last week something very nice happened, which is the first real life locals since I think like last year October was held in the Netherlands, and I got to participate. Shout out to Spell and Mirror, which is where the locals was held. And I actually, since I haven't really been that into the competitive game, you know, because there being no real events, I decided I wanted to do something fun. So I wanted to play basically the last deck, or the same deck I played at the last locals last year, which was Sky Striker. And I figured while doing so I might as well show you guys the updated deck list for what I feel is a pretty good build for the current format. And I actually got third place going X1. However, since we are just starting up things again here, since the the entire pandemic situation, that meant there are only 8 participants allowed. So getting third out of 8 isn't exactly very broken, and X1 meant I won 2 and lost 1, so not the most impressive record technically, but I mean, what the hell, right? Let's just get into the deck list. Alright, so let's get right into the deck profile. I will be going relatively in-depth on my card choices and just some of the thoughts I have on Striker in general, in the current format anyway, so let's go. Obviously the first card in the deck will be the full playset of Raye. Honestly, I don't even know what I should say about this. This is just absolutely mandatory. This is the best card in the deck. This card is surprisingly good at breaking the Dragon Link board basically on her own, to be honest. So Dragon Link definitely is one of the better matchups. I would say if you open like Widow Anchor and Raye, that actually gets you surprisingly far into breaking the field, and then hopefully you can also set up some disruptions for their second turn. But yeah, 3 Raye, of course. And then I'm currently still on double Rose instead of triple Rose. Rose is just so much less impactful than Raye is. She just loses to Spheres and to Tidying and Conquistador, etc, etc. But you really do need as many ways as possible to actually get to the Striker links, and Rose is just one of those ways, along with Hornet Drones. And I mean, the Graveyard effect does come up for sure, but Raye is definitely a lot better than Rose. And to be honest, I think a case could be made for playing 6 in total of the Sky Striker monsters, just because there's definitely games where you do not see, whoops, kicking the camera there. There is definitely games where you do not see any of them, and those games are just literally impossible to win, for obvious reasons. So, yeah, but honestly, the times you do brick on those Sky Striker monsters it isn't that bad. Then for the rest of the monster lineup, I am playing the Gamma package as the only hand trap sort of in the deck. This is just the most high impact for hand trap in my opinion, and the deck is very much built towards beating combo decks, as I am sure you will notice. And it's just the fact that Sky Striker at this moment is just by far better to play against the combo decks than against back row decks, which is funny because in the past it used to be the exact opposite. But yeah, Gamma, this also helps you go into a Hulky Fireback. It's also good going second when you're trying to break boards. For example, when you go Mine to bait and engage, you can Gamma them. So yeah, this card is super powerful. I would definitely play this. And then the last card is Vader. I know I said I wasn't playing any more hand traps, but Vader is more like an engine piece. The only reason I'm playing it is to do the Hulky Firebacks into Selene, into Access Code Talker play, which I just think is very good. Sky Strike has such a hard time closing out the game, and that little combo definitely helps. And then, I mean, Vader isn't actually a horrible hand trap at the moment. I wouldn't say it's one of the better ones, but it's definitely playable. And like I said, I just feel it's pretty mandatory to be able to close out the game at some point, because the deck without this stuff is very slow. Then moving on to the Sky Striker spells, I am of course playing triple Widow Anchor. I mean, I'm not really gonna explain that. Then I'm playing double Shark Cannon. Shark Cannon is pretty decent in the form, but I wouldn't say it's really a card to shine this specific format. It has been a while actually since we've been in a format where Shark Cannon was really good. I guess against Drytron it was pretty good and will be good again in the with the release of the next set, but for now I'm on 2 Shark Cannon, which is perfectly fine. You will usually use it to, you know, make some minor disruption or just to get like a tune out of the grave to start playing. I definitely think 2 is fine. You'll see later I am playing Desires, and if you banish 2, that is very painful, of course, but I think it's definitely manageable and the correct number for now anyway. Then I'm also playing double Area 0. 3 is definitely too much, especially since I'm playing the Mystic Mind package with set rotation, so you really don't want to be seeing like 3 field spells in your opening hand, which already happens as is, but I think 1 is too little. You really want a consistency card, so 2 is a fine number. And then of course multi-roll, still the best card in the deck. This gets you to Raye as well. Yeah, I'm not gonna explain too much about multi-roll, that's just literally the best card in the deck. Then the other one-offs, I'm of course playing Hornet Jones, that should be go without saying. I'm playing just 1 Afterburner. I know a lot of lists are on 2 right now, and I definitely think 2 is very good, especially if you're blinding second like I am. But I'm actually also playing a Jamming Wave, just because I really think one of the strengths of the Sky Striker decks that it toolboxes really well, and it just really helps to have this. And especially when you're grinding, it isn't even that bad to blow up one of your own dead set cards. Or just target one of your sets and then chain it and then destroy an opponent's monster. So yeah, I really like Jamming Wave. Just good to have as an option in the deck when you're playing against back row decks. Then I'm playing Evil Booster, which I think a lot of lists have cut. And I definitely can see why. You can definitely play like something like the second Afterburner instead of this. But I think it's really helpful to have a card you can just search with Shizuka and then activate in the end phase to trigger roll. And this also just helps against, helps you sometimes survive to get the turn that you need. Which is nice. So yeah, then the honorary Sky Striker cards, of course, Rota, Reinforcement of the Army to get Raye or Rose, Upstart Goblin. Honestly, there was a time I was not even playing this, but I really feel you need the consistency. So yeah, I'm not playing it per se to get 3 spells in the grave, because really that's not as important as it used to be. You're not going to be engaging people for +1 4 times in a turn, sadly. And then, like I said, I am playing Desires, and I already know people say, well, if you play Desires, why do you only play 1 effect failure? Well, the thing is, you don't need the failure / the Selene combo to go for game. Like, there's plenty of ways to do it without it. With cards like Shark and Widow Anchor. So that's why I feel it's fine to play Desires, and it's just so important in this deck to have the additional cards to be able to break the field or just to get to your engine pieces. I definitely think this is the best bot to run in this deck. I really don't think playing Prosperity is the way right now. And then Terraforming, like I said, I'm playing a huge field spell package, so Terraforming, set rotation, and a triple Mystic Mine. The truth is just, Sky Striker is not in the best moment in the format, I feel, and Mystic Mine is just one of those cards that really can help you get into the game, basically. Which I don't enjoy, like, it's not my favorite way to play Sky Striker or something like that, but it is what it is. The deck is just, at this moment, not strong enough without a card like this to seal the game in your favor in a cheesy way. So yeah, Mystic Mine, a lot of fun, very skillful duelist, etc. Then I'm also playing Cosmic Cyclone. The thing is, so I played this at the locals, but I probably would actually play Lightning Storm in the main deck instead of this. You'll see it in the side deck, but I would probably swap those out just to make your back row deck match up a little bit better. Like, you can just sack them with the Lightning Storm and then actually just win the game, where right now it's just so hard to win because you're playing a lot of stuff like this, which just doesn't really interact with back row decks that much. This is slightly better against like pure Eldic variants though, so there is that. But yeah, I would probably play Lightning Storm, to be honest. And then yeah, the last part of the deck is actually double Talents. So I was just really scared of Dragoon. This deck just has basically an impossible time to out that card. And this card isn't just good against Dragoon, right? It does a lot of stuff. It's like Engage, except that you can only activate it when your opponent activated a monster prior in the turn. And then, you know, you get 2 cards, but you can't pick one of them. And okay, I guess it's not anything like Engage, but it's still a relatively good card. And the last card, which I think is super strong in this deck, is Forbidden Droplet. This is also just a Dragoon out, and like if your opponent couches you or something, you can tribute it off with Droplet, which is funny. But I definitely think this card is very, very good in this deck. Don't really know what to say other than that. But yeah, that's the main deck, 40 cards sharp. Moving on to the extra deck. pretty straightforward. We are playing triple Hayate, we are playing triple Kagari, and we are playing triple Shizuku. These are just the most important ones, right? You can definitely get away playing double Hayate, but I feel like grinding does come up a lot with this deck. You're really always kind of trying to get into the grind game because that's the one you're winning, and you're not going to be winning the one-turn games like most of the games will be. But yeah, just those 9 mandatory Sky Striker links. Then I'm playing one Kaina. The effect comes up, especially the effect where you prevent an opponent's monster from attacking, which is probably the most important one, but the life gain sometimes comes up as well. You can even, to be honest, not play this, but I wouldn't really know what you would want to play instead of it. I guess something like Appaloosa maybe, which can definitely come up. But yeah, and then the one Zeke, again you can maybe play 2 of this, but I haven't really had it come up, even though it... Like, there's definitely situations where you already made this and really want to link one of your Sky Striker links with an opponent's monster. You took with Widow Anchor into this again, just to out the opponent's monster without any card effects, which is super nice. But yeah, the attack boost effect comes up, and then the bench effect, of course, definitely comes up when you're trying to slow down the game in your favor, which is nice. So one of this, and then, like I said, one Hulky, one Celine, the access code package. You just need this to close out the game. And then I'm playing Unicorn, and the reason I'm playing this one, I was playing Ningirsu before, because Ningirsu along with Eagle Booster was like a pseudo out for Dragoon. But it really came up quite a lot where I needed to go into like a link tree. Yeah, that wasn't Ningirsu, because Ningirsu needs to be made with just link monsters, and oftentimes I wanted to link into a link tree with monsters that were not link monsters. And that really narrowed the options down with the extra deck as it is. So yeah, the one Unicorn, which is fine. You can also like sometimes sharken your opponent's IP and then link into this, which is funny. And then moving on to the side deck, so I'm going first cards, because like I said, I am blinding seconds, but definitely opponents will make you go first if they know what's up. Triple, there can be only one, which is just the best floodgate in this deck to play. Maybe Summon Limit is a little bit better, but this also sort of helps you break fields in a way, which is nice. And then just Solemn Judgment, which is a good going second card. The side deck is not the best, to be honest, guys. I was kind of in a rush when preparing for the local, because I had a busy day, so I kind of just threw this together. Then the Lightning Storm I already talked about, so I would probably main deck this. And then I'm also playing Evenly Matched. I really feel this card is super underrated, this format. If you can bait out the negates and then evenly your opponent's Dragon Link field, that's very nice. And against Shadow, this card is just crazy. And the Shadow deck is really popular, and then it's also just good against you know, any Backo deck basically. I really think this card is very strong. And you can do the play where you go like attack with Ray, Ray effect, and then end of battle phase Ray effect, and then chain evenly, which has just always been a cool play in my opinion. I just think that play is very cool. And then the last card is Sphere Mode. I was just at the local I was at. I know a lot of people prefer to play combo, and I figured this was a pretty good way without just signing a billion hand traps to break the field. Though I do have to admit, there's significantly less options to still go into your Sky Striker plays after you do Sphere Mode at this point, because you need Hornet Drones or like a way to pop your Area 0, which is not the best. So I'm not sure if I would keep playing this. I honestly have to do more testing with this to see if it's worthwhile. But yeah, that was the deck. So yeah guys, that was the deck list. I hope you think that is, you know, was pretty decent. I'll run you through the matchups real quick. In round 1 I played against like Danger Kaiju OTK, which admittedly is not the best deck. But against Sky Striker is actually surprisingly decent, but I did manage to eventually grind out game 1. Then game 2, I think I misplayed probably and lost, and then in game 3, it was almost time actually, since game 1 took really long, and then Hayata was just a game. But to be fair, my opponent's hand wasn't that good either, so I guess that's... I probably would have won the game anyway. Then in the second round I played against Drytron, I lost that one. Game 1 I saw like a pretty decent hand, but I had no Ray, so I couldn't break the field properly. And then game 2 my hand was like double Mystic Mine and triple Ray, so exactly the opposite. And then I ended up just Mystic Mining him, but then he drew a Feather Duster for turn, so rip. And then in the last round I played against Shadow invoked Dogmatica, which of course very good deck. And game 1 I eventually, I stalled on mine for a really long time, and then eventually I just could game him. And then game 2 he went like plus a bazillion, set his entire hand with build up field, and I went like battle phase, evenly matched, and then he just scooped it up. So GG Paris, shout out to you. But yeah, that was it. If you did make it all the way to the end of the video, be sure to leave a like. Leave a comment with any thoughts you have about the deck, or maybe decks you want to see in the future. And if you haven't subscribed yet, would be nice, And if you do, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!